crucial for creating socially woke adults, and a sense of social empowerment can help boost the self-esteem and well-being of young people, a hugely pressing issue for Generation Z. For many movements, one of the most has been from in-person action. In Hong Kong, activists use the popular online multiplayer game Animal Crossing to spread pro-democracy. We also witness new forms of collective action organised online, such as flash mobs like the hashtag Clap Carers here in the UK, and even anti-government protests in Tunisia, Egypt, and Ecuador were organised and promoted via Facebook. Now here's the fact that might surprise you. In recent years, young such as voting or political Generation Z say that their investment in digital networking, protest, and volunteerism are through the roof. In other words, collectivism is likely the catalyst for rising political. Now, with all scale, speed, efficiency, and the ability to reach YouTube have proved ideal for sharing a diverse range of subjects, many of which would otherwise be overlooked, and they can play a major part in turning a fringe cause into a global movement. Oh, it says, apologies, Shank, your Wi-Fi seems a bit lag. Can you guys hear me? Is that okay now? Or is it still cutting out?
Okay, it's better now. Before you were sort of like freezing a few times. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know, should I just continue or do you want me to go back a couple of minutes?
We can still understand you. You were just a bit breaking. You can just continue. Hello?
Okay. Just let me know in the chat again if it gets worse.
Okay, thank you.
They're speaking about the pros of speed, scale, efficiency. So many of which would otherwise be looked over by the mainstream, which means that the Facebook and YouTube can play a major part in turning a fringe cause into a global movement. Secondly, onlineism is also way more acceptable. Those with disabilities were historically excluded from physical protests. Those in rural areas or issues. Online, they can have an equal voice. You know what? I'm actually going to change my. Actually, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you a while ago, but now you're just.
Do you want me to change Wi-Fi or do you want me to continue?
Okay.
I think you can try changing it.
Should I continue?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, but it's a little laggy. So if you change your connection, that might help.
Connect to. Okay, is that okay? There we go. That should be better.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes, sorry, that's my bad. I've connected to the Wi-Fi for downstairs. Speaking of the pros, yeah. So, having said that, obviously there are two sides to every story. The online movements can burn out faster than campaigns that spend months or even years forging in-person connections, and often there is rarely a well-oiled permanent organisation to follow up for protesters' demands. Some people even argue that the digital playing field is tilted towards dictators and disadvantaged movements in several important ways. Many countries tightly control their country's internet service providers. This allows them to more easily monitor, censor, and selectively prevent activists from getting and maintaining internet access. Regimes can also flood the online spaces with government propaganda, as they did in Serbia and Honduras in direct response to anti-governmental protests. Going forward, really effective protests will require not just the right of people to gather, but accessible public spaces in which gathering is possible. Protesters in countries such as China, Russia, and Turkey have been arrested by the thousands and had their rights of assembly removed. In answer to a blanket ban on protests in Spain back in 2015, activists actually resorted to protest by hologram. 18,000 people sent holograms of themselves protesting, and then that was then projected on a loop for several hours in front of Congress. Sadly, the phenomenon of shrinking civic spaces appears to continue, and digital replicas are an addition, not a substitution. Despite all of these hurdles, many notable activist causes of the past decade are still recognized by their online presence. In 2010, a huge earthquake hit Haiti. The Red Cross were able to garner 2.2 million tweets and raise $20 million in a single week. At one point, they were receiving 10,000 texts a second and went on to raise $500 million in total. And who could forget when 1 out of every 6 Brits participated in the Ice Bucket Challenge, raising $220 million for ALS research. And we haven't even begun to discuss the Me Too movement yet, which, amongst everything else, connected 3,600 people with lawyers and raised $24 million to support their efforts on the back of 20 million tweets. And finally, my favourite 14-year-old campaigner, Lucy Gavin, and her petition asked Tesco to stop selling eggs from caged hens, which at the time made up 43% of the eggs that they sold each year. With many signatures and shares on social media, Tesco's announced that they would phase out eggs caged hens by 2025. Some of the most successful movements use online activity to rally support, then combine this with the legwork on the ground, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. In 2019, the climate strike movement is an incredibly successful example of this combination of online and offline activism. Rallying behind Greta Thunberg and Fridays for Future, tens of millions of citizens all over the world mobilized to address the climate crisis and support environmental activism. But is there any correlation between likes, donations, and volunteering? Studies have shown that given the easy and efficient nature of collectivism, it does increase the desire for performing other, more difficult behaviors, including money donations or volunteering. Studies have shown that young people who engage strongly in politics also do so in their offline lives. So, sharing and tweeting politics on social media does in fact correlate to attending political meetings, donating to campaigns, voting, and other forms of civic engagement. At the end of the day, is limited action not always better than no action at all? Well, a Greenpeace activist once said that dismissing weak ties because they weren't strong would be about as stupid as turning down a kid wanting to empty his piggy bank to donate because we need more money than he can give. It would be insulting and frankly counterproductive. So, what do I think the future of collectivism looks like? I feel like there is a lot of room for gamification-style features, competitive reward-based systems, and a more overt acknowledgement when sharing positive social change across social media. We all love a bit of praise, after all. We know that it takes a minimum of 7 exposures to something to produce action. Therefore, we may need more incentives to share social change at higher frequency than ever before, as a way to build and broaden awareness. What if Instagram allowed you to tag and measure your socially conscious posts and stories, enabling you to track your weekly contributions? We could create a global ripple effect every week, and Instagram could share data on how local areas are truly benefiting from these mentions. Yes, it's collectivism, but it will help people in need of support, increase awareness, and amplify all that is good in the world. So where does this leave us today? Well, the impact of social media activism cannot be understated. What was once impossible is now possible. Efforts that required mass mobilizations of door knockers can now be achieved in an instant with a well-placed tweet. The internet is now the front line, and activists must prioritize online messaging or otherwise have their messaging regulated for them. You've all heard the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, the power of the click has joined the fight. Online actions can change a country's policies, drag criminals to court, and bring a sea of people out onto the street in a matter of hours. But the key is doing it together. Social media is now the most powerful tool for communication, and its users are helping activists to build communities, raise awareness, and mobilize. It helps activists to both act and to react. Criticism of social media comes largely from those who haven't found their voice online, and those who are seeing their megaphone taken away by new voices in the conversation. It's a classic case of the generation gap. They do not understand that our words, our data, our clicks online help connect us all with those in power, and that is exactly how a democracy works. We know that today's activists won't be satisfied with mere digital activism. If we are to achieve lasting impacts through our efforts, then this generation must pass the sometimes unfocused energy of digital media and combine it with long-standing principles for building sustainable social campaigns. But it's difficult to argue that being online hasn't had an impact on the number of people willing to show up for a cause. As someone 15 years younger than the internet, its universal influence has directly shaped that I and others born in the online generation engage with social change. For some like me, it makes activism without the ability to connect using social media completely unimaginable. So, use your media to grow awareness, use your voice to bring attention, use your privilege to drive purpose, and use your limited time on this planet to create positive social change at scale by harnessing the power of collectivism. Thank you very much for listening, and I would quite quickly like to add to talk about the Changemaker Network at Thread. If anyone wants to kind of reach out to become a intern, remote writer, Discord moderator, or ambassador, we have lots of different roles at Thread, and I'm happy to speak a little bit more about that if you would like. But apart from that, thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something.
Okay, thank you so much for an amazing speech. Thank you so much for an amazing speech, Cenk. It is very interesting to know how social media can make such a big impact on society. It's crazy how we can do multiple things and create like major changes only via online. If anybody wants to ask any questions, please unmute the mic and speak or type in the chat box so that way we can ask you the question. Oh, apparently there's really one here. Cenk, can you talk more about the internship opportunities in Thread? Someone seems to be interested.
Yeah, cool. So I'll talk a bit more about the whole Changemaker network, if you'd like. Basically, at Thread, which is the I appreciate now I didn't explain, is the company that I started. At Thread, we've got what we call the Changemaker network. So that would be at the top level, you have remote writers from around the world who will contribute articles and get paid to contribute articles to the website, and they are from all around the world. Then you have our kind of interns who will intern for a week, or if you can, effectively you can intern for however long you want, but most of the time they're about a week-long internships, and depending on what you feel passionate about, you can join the consulting for a couple of days, you can join the graphic design and production for a couple of days, or you can join the content creation, the articles themselves virtually for a couple of days. All of that is virtual. Or you can kind of learn about like the basics of how to do each of those kind of sides of Thread. That's the internships. The ambassador programs are slightly less than that. So then the ambassador programs will meet once every kind of couple weeks for what we call a town hall, and you will talk about your kind of social change. We'll hear your social change stories, and we'll talk about what's coming up with Thread. We'll ask you guys for questions. Often we'll poll you guys on like what you think about something like that. And then that is the Thread ambassadorship, and then the step which we're trying to make more now is Discord members and moderators for our Discord server.
Okay, thank you so much for that response. I hope that answers your question. Okay, now we have questions from Melody, the head chair of WHO. Feel free to ask your question, Melody.
Yes, thank you so much, Fabilia, and thank you so much to Mr. Cenk Oz for that amazing speech. I'm really inspired by it. My question to you is, what made you start ThreadMed? And I understand that you are a youth, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, so what got you started, and who was your inspiration in your entrepreneurship journey?
Just to clarify, the question is who is my inspiration?
Yes, and what made you first start ThreadMed?
So effectively, the reason I started Thread was I had a website before that, which was really kind of small, and it was about kind of just cool things to do in London, which is where I live. And then I quickly realized that I had this website, but I wasn't able to really make kind of a change. And I was kind of growing up and becoming a bit more mature, and I realized that nothing was really changing, and I had this platform, but I wasn't really using it properly. So that was when I decided to change that website into Thread, which is what it is today. And so I basically refocused the whole website so it would all be about social change globally. So that's why I started Thread. And then my biggest inspiration, I kind of have different inspirations for different aspects of my life. I think like on a public speaking level, one of my biggest inspirations is people, someone like Simon Sinek. I find that whenever he speaks, it's like gold dust. I listen to everything he says; it's incredible. On an entrepreneurial level, I mean, obviously you have the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezoses, the Evan Spiegels of the world, who are kind of incredibly talented entrepreneurs and CEOs. I think that Elon Musk is probably the best answer to that, purely based on the fact that he both executes and still runs effectively. It's quite rare that you'll have someone as engaged with their company from day one until where they are now. And I think that is really quite a big thing. I think someone's asked in the chat, how can we contact you? So I'm just going to very quickly drop my email and Instagram there if you have any further questions. Yeah, I will drop them both in there now.
Okay, thank you, Jen. And before you ask your question, Ikra, someone actually has a question in the chat box. How to apply for internship/jobs for your company?
So just if you email me at cenk@threadmedia, which is the first email I send there, then we can kind of discuss on a more specific level if you want to kind of apply there. That'd be perfect. That is very good to hear.
Okay, there you go. That's how you get a job, guys. Okay, so for Ikra, go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Mr. Zhang, for your speech. As my lady said that, yes, we are really inspired. So my question to you is that, like, how did you overcome the hurdles that you faced, like, with starting that website, as you mentioned earlier? And what is your advice for the young generation? How can they be like you? That's what I want to know.
I think it's worth saying that you never really overcome a challenge or a hurdle, because the challenges you have on day one are the different challenges you have on day two, and they're always going to have different challenges every day that you kind of face. But the thing you really have to learn is how you're going to be able to kind of work around them and live alongside them. So I think we haven't really had any huge kind of issues or challenges at Thread, because when we were starting of COVID, we were an online website, so it wasn't like COVID massively affected us. But on a day-to-day level, I think the important thing is learning how to kind of work alongside the challenges and obstacles, as opposed to kind of it would be unfair of me to try and give a piece of advice to take over all obstacles.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that answers your question, Ikra. Okay, and I just want to remind the delegates as well that you guys can also ask the questions in the WhatsApp group. For those of you who are watching us live on YouTube, we will also be checking the WhatsApp group for further information or further questions. But currently, if there are any, feel free to drop them in the chat box, or you guys can raise your hand and ask it verbally.
Also, I would like to add, if you don't want to ask now, do feel free to DM me or email me. I'll probably reply. So if you don't want to ask now, then that is completely fine.
Okay, thank you, Cenk. Yeah, you guys can also contact him via his email and his DM that he just sent in the chat. Okay, it seems like everyone's pretty...
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It has been absolutely awesome speaking to you, and an absolute honor. I hope you guys have learned something. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, or hope you enjoyed the last few days. Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much, Cenk, for that amazing speech and answering all of our delegates and chairs' questions. We are so honored to have you here as a speaker. Now, delegates, since we have moved on with the speaker session, we're now moving on to one of the most awaited session, which is the awarding ceremony. Okay, so the awards presented will be verbal commendation, best position paper, honorable mention, most outstanding delegate, and best delegate, and it will be presented by the committee. The order being UNSC, WHO1, WHO2, UNHRC 1, UNHRC 2, UN Women 1, and UN Women 2. Now, I would like to call out the chairs of UNSC to please raise your hand so we can spotlight you and announce the winners for your committee. Okay. Okay. Also, for the chairs, please have your cameras on since we can't spotlight you if you have your cameras off. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So, chairs, take it away.
Head chair, do you have?
Yeah, Am I audible, by the way?
Yes, head chair.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, MC, for the opportunity. This is Ria, the head chair of UNSC and also the USB for academics. We are truly humbled that everybody had a lot of fun and everybody had a wonderful experience in ULMU. And this would not have been possible if not for the organizing team, the speakers, the chairs, and of course the heart of the committee, all the delegates. So we are now going to present the awardees for UNSC. We were a very small committee, I must say, but we had a lot of fun. There were a lot of prizes, and well, we can say that the delegates really gave it their all, and we had fun as well. Overseeing them, we watched them learn a lot as the committee sessions go along, and we could not have been more proud at how the committee session ended. To be honest, we did not expect how it ended. We had a lot of fun, and we had some fun MUN of our own as well. So I would like to turn the floor to Joanna.
Thank you for the floor, head chair. Agreeing much to our head chair, this is definitely one of the best councils I have ever chaired. The entire environment was just incredible. Like the delegates were so professional and so well researched on their speeches, but moreover, they were just so friendly and nice to each other. The environment and the friendship between the delegates really had me extremely happy, especially between US and UK. Those two delegates had me cackling till the end. So yes, delegates, even if you don't win an award, which I don't think there is any, but even if you don't win or whether you win, all of you did so well, and I could not be prouder of all of you. Back to the head chair.
All right, thank you. So now, without further ado, we're going to start with the awarding of the delegates, starting with the best position paper. So we are so proud that this position paper not only had zero plagiarism, we double checked it. We also noticed that it had all the right contents of what the position paper should have. It was very organized. The solutions were not only practical to their country, they're not only applicable to their country, but it can also be applied to other countries as well. We noticed that it was well thought out, it was well organized, it was well prepared, and we are both sure that this delegate deserves this award. So congratulations to the delegate of France for winning the Best Position Paper Award. And now to the next award, we have the Verbal Commendation Award. Now, these delegates were powerful, I would say, in their speeches. They had their own strengths. Had it not been their attendance to certain committee sessions, they would have had higher marks. However, there were certain committee sessions when their presence would have been necessary, but they weren't able to participate, so they weren't able to give as many speeches as they would have, and therefore, but nonetheless, it doesn't invalidate their input in the committee. Especially during the discussion of the DR, that is when we saw their most participation in. So we really appreciated that. And with that, we would like to give the Verbal Commendation Awards to the delegates of Russia and Pakistan. Co-chair.
Thank you for the floor, head chair. We will be moving on to the honorable mentions. So we have three of them. So starting with first, this delegate had such wonderful points. It would be hard to list them all, but the point in him which really made me extremely impressed was how engaging his speeches were. In his very first speech in the council, he turned his back and then dramatically revolved around and told, this is how the entire member states are behaving towards the situation. Now that's what I call creativity at its finest. Congratulations, delegate of China. Next delegate, he's the delegate who wanted to nuke so many delegates and countries, but at the same time had such wonderful content. Congratulations, United States of America. And lastly, one of the main countries in the entire agenda, India. You handled it so well. despite being in a tricky situation, you managed to handle everything so well. We are so proud of every content, every speech all of you gave. So congratulations to China, US, and India. Now let's move on to the outstanding. Okay, let's move on to the outstanding delegates. So this delegate, it was such a hard, like it was so hard for us chairs to choose between him and the best delegate because they were both so active. And this specific delegate, the outstanding delegate's content was top notch. And the fact that he knew the UN Charter so well and was just questioning delegates, being like, your resolution is against the UN Charter's article this and this. It got me, it got me scared and intimidated by him, but he was wonderful in every aspect. Congratulations, United Kingdom. Floor is back to our head chair.
All right, thank you. So now we are going to award the Best Delegate Award. So as the co-chair has mentioned, it was hard to pick between the most outstanding and the best delegate. We had a lot of things to consider, but all in all, we were able to take into account the diplomacy of this delegate, and the points that he presented were not just attacks, or were not just responses to the remarks or to the comments of other delegates, but his responses came from research. His responses came from understanding what the other delegates were saying, and he was able to explain his draft resolution, or the DR where he was a sponsor really well. And all in all, what made this delegate stand out is the fact that he was able to not only lead the committee, it was more like he was able to understand where each of the countries were coming from, and he was able to take that into consideration when he was presenting his draft resolution and when he was answering the questions from the other committees. So without further ado, we would like to congratulate the delegate of France for winning the Best Delegate Award. So thank you. We hope that the UNSC delegates also had fun with the committee sessions just as much as I have and the co-chair has. And without further ado, we are now going to turn the floor back to the MC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, chairs, for announcing the awards. I just have to say, UNSC sounds like a very, very fun committee. And Delegate of UK had to teach me the UN Charter. I honestly don't remember a single thing, sadly. But now let us proceed to the WHO awards, beginning with WHO 1 chairs. Please raise your hand if you're present so we can spotlight you. Okay, let me spotlight you. Give us a minute for, is it just D? Is there any more? Okay.
I guess it's just me for now, so yeah.
Okay, then go ahead. The floor is yours, D.
All right, wonderful. But before I begin, WHO 1, where are you? Raise your hands. Where are you? Hey! So yeah, with regards to that, one thing that I can say is that WHO 1 has been a pretty fun council. Everyone is friendly to each other, and of course, considering that it is the topic was regarding COVID-19 and mental health and all that, so it's very easy to come to a consensus together, and understandably so that it was a majorly beginner council. Everyone was on a learning journey together, and I'm glad that everyone could kind of guide each other up. Of course, eventually we did nuke each other in the crisis after the draft resolution was submitted. Yes, Russia nuked everyone. People nuking here. Palestine held the UN hostage, but we'll talk about that in another occasion. But either way, with regards to the awards, of course, again, just one thing to say, as someone who is, I'm not really on a lot of international conferences, so this is one of the nicest, experiences that I've had for quite a while. So yeah, you guys are a really good bunch, and I hope you, Godspeed on your MUN journey. Now, for the awards, of course, I don't want to drag you on. We'll start off with, hold on. Apologies, secretariats. Which one is first again? Is it the best PP?
Yeah, we begin with the best present paper, then verbal, then honorable, then outstanding, and then best L.
Wonderful apologies, delegates. As you know, this chair is very flawed. But as I say, first and foremost, the best position paper. I have no words for it. For reasons that I will not be disclosing. Aside from the fact that very nice, and of course a very very low plagiarism report. Which hey, we all love a good academic integrity, So the best position paper award goes to the delegate of Sudan. Congratulations, Sudan. Very good job. Now, as for the in-council related sort of awards, the first delegate who will receive a verbal commendation. No, the first award, first delegate, or first awardee in general will be verbal commendation. Now, why this delegate in particular? Because one thing is that aside from the fact that delegates has spoken a lot, it's a shame that they could have gone a little bit deeper on a lot of subject matter and all that, but they have contributed a lot. And in terms of their points, they have raised a lot of good points, and they are probably one of, if not the one delegate that always tries to be a very good diplomat, getting everyone's sides and asking, every time there's an unmod, this delegate is always the first one to start. Hey, okay, so my points are this. What about yours? The only sad part is that this delegate unfortunately did not join us for the rest of the 2 days, and they were only here for the first day. So with that, this is coming from the delegate of Cambodia. Congratulations if you are here, but hopefully someone gets the message to them. Now, for the honorable mention. Now, these few delegates, right? Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of delegates in this one. These few delegates are quite an interesting bunch. I know for them, for two of them, it's their first time. Once I say this, you probably know who you are. For two of them, it's their first time. And for one of them, they've already done it before. But aside from that, they have contributed a lot. They have worked a lot as well. And, essentially, even as new delegates, they've tried their best. Of course, there's many room for improvement, and they could, again, go deeper on the subject matter regarding their foreign policies, regarding on their ideas. But aside from that, they are, when you think of a diplomat, you think of someone that works well with people, right? And yeah, these people kind of work well with people. But of course, hey, guys, speak more and don't be afraid to, say more things. And of course, these people are the delegates of Palestine, Russia, and Sudan. Congratulations, guys. There was also that one time we got confused between Palestine and Sudan. I mean, look at the flags, guys, of course. And Palestine, I still don't forgive you for holding the UN hostage. But either way, I digress. Otherwise, congratulations to you guys. Now, as for the outstanding delegate, this delegate came in a little bit late to the party, perhaps only on the second day. And yet they have managed to say a lot of words. They contributed a lot of notes in terms of the draft resolution. And they themselves have also said a lot of things with regards to, the conference in the council itself. How should I say this? Well, I say this in a sense that, they describe their ideas and they describe their positions quite clearly compared to plenty other people. And like I said, they are fairly diplomatic. They want to know what others believe, and they want to hear from others as well. And of course, this person is also very well spoken in general. Of course, again, perhaps more solid contributions would be greater. But even then, this delegate has done quite a good job in general. This delegate is the delegate of Denmark. Congratulations. Now, last but not least, the best delegate. I think a lot of people in WHO1 kind of can tell who this will be. This delegate is the main sponsor of the draft resolution. Now that I say this, you guys probably know who it is. This delegate has also, spoken quite a lot, and is also a very, very good diplomat in a sense. This delegate could also be a bit stronger in their positions, but over time they kind of clarified more and more. And this delegate has a good balance with regards to speaking well and of course conversing with each other. All around a very good delegate. Basically the kind of delegate that kind of hits and checks all the marks. And with that, the best delegate goes to the delegate of Iceland. Congratulations. And with that, before I hand it over to the secretariat, I will use the power vested in me to... Wait, is the delegate of Iceland here at the moment? I will now hold the power vested in me, if the secretariat allows, to allow and yield the time over to the delegate of Iceland to give a speech.
Okay, I guess we can give a few minutes for the delegate of Iceland to give a few words. However, we have to move on after this. So go ahead, delegate of Iceland, if you're present.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. So it was a pleasure being on the committee because I think we were very fortunate to be under a very experienced and very friendly chair. And the whole committee session was very good and the delegates were so friendly and one of the best experience because all the delegates there felt very comfortable on what they're doing. And I hope there was a lot of new first timers and they got the confidence to do better in their upcoming MUNs because the committee was very friendly and comfortable. And once again, thank you, the ULMU team. And everyone worked hard for this amazing MUN. And thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so I guess with that, again, thank you to the ULMAN Secretariats. And live from Malaysia, thank you very much. This has been Dee.
Okay, thank you so much to the chair and the delegate of Iceland from WHO1. It seems like a very fun committee so far. Every committee seems to nuke each other. Hopefully this will proceed for the next committees. But now let us present the chairs for WHO2. If you're present, please raise your hand so we can spotlight you and see your beautiful faces. Okay, wow. Give us a minute. Let me spotlight. There you go. Cheers. The floor is now yours.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank each and everyone for giving us this opportunity and a wonderful committee that is WHO2. So WHO2, you remember that? WHO2 rocks, right? So this committee, we were told that it's a beginner committee and we'll be getting like the beginners. But when I entered the committee session, oh my God, they were so competitive. You can't say that they were the beginners. And to our birthday boy, Delegate of Djibouti, once again, many, many golden returns of the day. The way he heated up the debate, like being the sponsor, being in a committee, but still he has a lot of questions. And the way he was asking the heated debate that gave to the committee, that was commendable. And all the delegates, as you can see, WHO rocks. That's the power of our committee. They all are very friendly and they are just eager to do. They are always ready and competitive. So we're coming over towards the conference and the way how they presented themselves. Well, I must say their speeches, the way they presented themselves, it doesn't seem that they were the beginners. And moreover, as you know, that we have to give the awards. Thank you so much, Iran, for that. We have to give the awards. So I know that we can't give awards to each and everyone, unfortunately, because we don't have that much awards. If it would have been in my hand, then I would have given awards to all the delegates because they were amazing and awesome. The heated debate, ranging from diplomacy skills or the way they presented themselves. So when we are coming towards the awards, just remember one thing. The delegate said no one in the universe can withhold anything from anyone what he or she really deserves. So keep on trying and definitely you will be at high skill. Okay, so when we are coming towards the award, the first award that we have is the best position paper. Okay, so it was really tough for us to decide the winners as we have already stated this thing earlier. Melody and I were really confused and we have been discussing this thing like since morning. So all the position papers were amazing, but when we are talking about this delegate, the way he presented and the solutions, that were very impressive. I must say those solutions are up to the mark because you know that mental health is an issue that we don't take much concern about it. But the way the solutions that this delegate called in his position paper were amazing. So the best position paper, any guesses, committee? Okay, so the best position paper from WHO2 is Denmark. Congratulations, delegate. You were amazing, I must say. The solutions were really very productive and we hope in future that you keep on presenting these kind of position papers. Okay. Well, then we're talking about verbal commendation. So all the delegates, they give their speeches. Although they were beginners, they didn't feel shy. They were super, super friendly and adorable while asking doubts or while sharing their concepts or anything about the UN Charter or the mandates of WHO, as they were again and again for arguing that WHO cannot do anything. We can just condemn. We can just condemn. And that was the best part. Like our whole last day was spent on discussing about this thing that WHO can condemn. We cannot do any action. Okay, so when we're talking about verbal commendation, so we have two winners so far, and the delegate who has shown like best speeches and can be a best delegate in near future. I know that definitely. That is Denmark, and one more. That is none other than who loves to go to church, a delegate of Iran. Congratulations, delegate. You were amazing. So from over here, my last remarks that is, you all are amazing. Keep on trying, and blessed to have you in my committee. Thank you so much. You all are rocking. Over to you, our head chair.
Thank you so much, Ikra, for the amazing speech. So yeah, just a very short speech from me. So yeah, just wanted to say that I'm really, really impressed with all of your brilliant ideas and solutions brought up during the moderated unmods. And please do not feel discouraged if you do not win an award, as there is always room for improvement for all delegates. And I believe that all of you will win an award one day. And yeah, seriously, no words can express my gratitude towards all delegates. You guys are really the ones running the council sessions, spearheading discussions, and y'all should feel incredibly proud of yourselves. Yeah, y'all truly made my chairing experience 10 times better. Okay, so now for the award. Okay, so these two delegates, y'all were very active during the GSL speeches and moderated caucuses. Your points were not only substantiated with data, but also with your own personal views and opinions. So the winners for the most honorable mention goes to the delegate of, drum roll please, the delegate of Germany and Ghana. Yeah, good job, delegates. All right, now for the most outstanding delegate award. Okay, so these two delegates, y'all were thriving way too hard. Y'all kept the debate so heated, and I really cannot thank you enough for that. Yup, y'all are truly the epic duo. And these two delegates are the delegate of Djibouti and the delegate of Sweden. Good job, delegates. Okay, so last but not the least, our favorite award, the Best Delegate Award. Okay, so this delegate was a true leader. He or she carried the committee in unmoderated caucuses, was a sponsor of the draft resolution, gave speeches that were so on point to the agenda, and I'm truly, truly proud of you, delegate. And this delegate is none other than the delegate of, drumroll please, the delegate of Afghanistan. Yes, good job, delegates. Over to you, Secretary. Over to you, Fabilia. Apologies.
It's okay. Thank you so much to the WHO chairs for that amazing speech. By the way, Melody, it's nice to see you again. It's been a while since I've seen you. And now we will proceed to the next committee from UNHRC 1. The chairs, can you please raise your hand so we can spotlight you? Okay. Give me a minute. Is it just Tanvita? Anyone else?
Yeah, unfortunately, Jenny couldn't be here today, like right now. Okay, so UNHRC 1, possibly like one of the best committees I've ever had like the honor of being a part of. So unfortunately, in our committee, nobody tried to nuke each other, though UAE and Austria and Canada had like the opposite of a love triangle going on. So like that's definitely something we need to take note of. And so UNHRC 1 was such a cool committee. So like there's a really few of us, but even then the competition was so intense and you could like see the tension between some countries. And like this is such a controversial topic and something that's like so personal to so many people that it made like the debates and the speeches just so much more interesting to listen to. And I know that if Head Chair Jenny was here right now, she'd be talking about all the gossip box confessions, because our gossip box confessions were possibly so spicy. Like they're possibly the spiciest confessions that I've ever been a part of. So like without any further ado, I know that all of you are waiting for this. We'll start with the awards. Okay, so for the best position paper, it's so weird because usually position papers, they aren't supposed to be like fun to read. They're usually supposed to be like packed with information about your country's stance, but this delegate made it so much fun to read and like referenced it so well, and it was just formatted so nicely that it was a pleasure to read. So without giving too much away, it's a delegate of UAE. Delegate of UAE won best position paper. Congratulations. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the verbal commendations. So this delegate, I'm pretty sure nobody expected them to get the verbal commendation, and neither did the chairs actually up until the last day. So this delegate actually had a lot of influence over the committee, and they were really, really, really like into leadership and things like that. But it came to a point where it got a bit tough for other delegates to voice their opinions with this delegate. So I'm just a pointer to this specific delegate, just to let people talk a bit more. Okay, so this delegate is none other than the delegate of Austria. So delegate of Austria, congratulations. You're the verbal commendation for our committee. Okay, and now we're going to be moving on to the most outstanding delegate. And this delegate was just being attacked during the crisis, right? Because our crisis was essentially that two people part of the LGBTQ plus community went to a country and then they were arrested for like public displays of affection. And so everybody was just attacking this like country, and it was so much fun because she handled it so well. So I know everybody knows who I'm talking about, right? The delegate of UAE, congratulations, you won most outstanding delegate. Okay, and now, yeah, finally, okay, delegate of Canada, we see you. Okay, so now I think we all know who the best delegate's gonna be, because like they were so active throughout the committee, and like during the breaks, during the fun one sessions, they were just there and talking, and they were so much fun. Yes, the delegate of UAE is magical. Anyway, so the best delegate goes to the delegate of Canada. Congratulations! I mean, I feel like everybody already knew that they were going to win. Since Jenny isn't here to give a speech, could the delegate of Canada give a quick speech? Because I know we all love to hear her talk.
Thank
Secretary, is
you,
that fine?
Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chair. And it was a blessing to be inside of your committee and Jenny's committee. And honestly, the delegates were awesome, man. Like, I really enjoyed these 3 days. It was concerningly fun. That's what I said. Concerningly fun. And honestly, the delegates were like awesome. So, hey. So thank you so much. And I'm never going to give you up. I'm never going to let you down. Never going to desert you. Thank you.
Congrats.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that's all right. Okay, so yeah, your committee sounds great. Just wanted to say. Okay, next we have UNHRC chairs. I think you guys are going to need to present the awards next. Can you please raise your hand so we can spotlight you?
Okay, hi guys. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, that's great. So I'm really sorry, I'm outside, so I won't be able to open my camera. Pardon me for that. But one thing I'll say, and this is kind of becoming a trend here, but this was one of the best committees I've ever chaired. And I think all of this goes to show the commitment of the Ulman team and the work they have done to put this conference together. So kudos to them. That being said, UNHRC was a wonderful committee. When we had our ups, we had our downs, we had our fights, we had our absolute lows. When both the Secretary General and Chief Advisor spent the entirety of the last day at your committee, you understand that some shit is going on. My apologies. Having said that, it was a wonderful committee and I really enjoyed myself, and it was a great experience sharing. So, before I go ahead with the awards, I'd like to give the floor to my co-chair, Siha, for giving a small speech and going ahead with the few awards.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Okay, like our chair has said, I'm not sure. I think this is my either fourth or my fifth time chairing, but I'll be honest. This is truly the best committee I've chaired. I'm not exaggerating or anything. Yes, like Belgium has said, from 4 a.m. fights to so many internal crises. It was really fun to see everyone get along in the end, and the debates and everything were really awesome. And I know UNHRC was an intermediate committee, but there were some beginner, and although they were beginners, they carried the entire conference so smoothly. I was really impressed with everyone. And moving on to the awards, of course. So I'll be starting with the best position paper. So for best position paper, this delegate wrote in detail of everything they wanted to express, their country's stance, their international community on how they are responding to this issue, and even their solutions were in detail. So without further ado, the best position paper award, it goes to the delegate of the United Kingdom. Congratulations to the delegate of UK. And the next award, which is verbal commendation. This delegate had a few network issues, audio issues throughout the conference, but the speeches were really amazing. They tried to include themselves and moderate the caucus sessions and everything they try to lead to, but they were really great, although there were some issues there. So without further ado, verbal mention goes to the delegate of Finland. Congratulations, delegate of Finland. I hope that this was expected. Okay, I'm so sorry for stuttering. I am way too excited to announce the awards too. Okay, the next award, the honorable mention. There are two delegates that we've chose for honorable mention, and trust me when I say this was really hard for us to choose because every delegate was so amazing in everything. So I'm not going to take up much of your time. The honorable mention goes to the delegate of Argentina and the delegate of UK. Argentina and UK, you guys were truly amazing. And you guys were the sponsors in the DR, I think. I don't remember. I have bad memories, but the DR was amazing. Everything was amazing. Argentina, you were really great there. And also delegate of UK, your speeches were so amazing. I really loved it. You'd really have to teach me some of your ways if I'm being honest. So I'm going to be passing it back to my chair.
Thank you very much, Sia, for that. Before I continue, Secretariat, I believe the screen is paused, so you could look into that. However, when I discussed the main was, I see the chat box is already going wild. It was a very hard decision. These delegates basically tied on the marking sheet. They have equal marks, so we were really confused as to which delegate is going to be the winner, and we were really just trying to figure out, okay, how do we select a winner? How do we select a winner? It boiled down to the position paper at the end of the day, because that was the only different factor we could figure out of the entire 3 days of committee session. But having said that, the awards are as follows. The outstanding delegate goes to the delegate of Belgium, and the best delegate award goes to the delegate of Armenia. You guys were fantastic, and it was a pleasure sharing you guys. Thank you very much for the conference. I would like to pass the floor back to the MCs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think, I'm not sure if the screen is, we're done with the awards. If you can go to the, yeah. Thanks so much. Okay, next we have the UNW1 committee. Chairs, can you please raise your hands? Yep, you can start. Yeah, you can start presenting the awards.
Agatha?
Am I audible? Okay, so greeting everyone. My name is Agatha, along with 3 adorable chairs in UNW. So personally, I'm really glad and also thankful for everyone who joining our conference. Yes, UNW rocks. That's true. We need to shake the Instagram with this kind of hashtag, by the way. So basically, I'm so thankful for the delegates and also the committee to have this kind of great MUN, also the chair that are really not only cooperative but also really fun. We have so many jokes and also humor between the conference during the fun MUN. I'm really grateful for all the people that are joining our conference. First of all, thank you for the delegates that make the debates really great. We're having so fun because the delegates really want to involve during the committee session. Not only that, they have like a little bit like a crisis during the committee session, which is so fun because delegate can open like more perspectives. Especially for the chair, we really learn a lot about the delegates. Especially about the substantive things regarding our topics. And for the committee, see you soon for the ULMUN 2.0. And for delegate and also chair, nice to meet you all. Wish to have a great time with you guys and any kind of iteration in the future. Thank you. I'll give the floor to Anushka.
Thank you, Agatha. And as Agatha mentioned, guys, our committee was crazy. We had some crazy fun. Of course, no nukes happened. However, USA at one point did decide on resigning her position and giving up on life, but we saved her in the end. She did well. Other than that, we had a few hiccups along the way with the combining of UNW1 and UNW2. But as always, all the things worked out in the end. And thank you. But guys, it was such an amazing committee. We had the delegate of Ethiopia fighting the delegate of US, and then Palestine, and then South Africa. And then we had our gossip session, which was filled with basically just simps. Our committee was filled with simps, let's be honest. There was nothing else in that committee. And also to all the people in my committee who were literally dying for people's voices. I'm proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'll be giving the floor to Delana now. Thank you so much for this great experience, guys. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Anushka and Agatha. Guys, it is literally true. We had simps for voices, and I'm not even kidding. The confession box was literally like 75% of the confession box was like, oh my God, this delegate's voice is so amazing. But, well, that was true. We all have to agree. It was so great to chair for UN Women 1 after the combined committee, of course, UN Women 1 and 2. Without further ado, I would like to announce the awards. Starting with the best position paper, we have the delegate of Oman. Amazing. Again, the thing is, for these delegates, right, in my committee, I'm running out of adjectives. I have no words to describe how amazing these people were. So I'm just going to say awards one by one. Next up, we have verbal commendations. We have the delegate of South Africa and the delegate of Algeria. Guys, come on. They were just amazing. Okay, we all have to agree. Next up, we have honorable mentions. Yep, plural. We have the delegate of Switzerland and the delegate of Oman. Congratulations, guys. You guys were outstanding. Yep. Next up, we have the delegate. We have outstanding delegates. I think it's pretty obvious who these people are, but I'm still gonna say it. And it was amazing. And also, it was really close between the best delegate and the outstanding delegates. So, drum roll. We have the delegate of Palestine and the delegate of Ethiopia. Amazing. Congratulations. I'm running out of adjectives. I have no words. Finally, for best delegate, we have the delegate who was actually who did it all whilst outshining the entire committee, of course. We have guesses. I definitely think we have guesses in the room. Best Delegate Award goes to the delegate of the United States. Congratulations to all of the delegates who got awards today. Even if you didn't get awards, you were amazing. This committee was amazing. UN Women rocks, guys. It's this end of conversation. UN Women was the best committee. Thank you so much to ULMUN 1.0 for giving us a platform. And I hand it over back to the people.
Thank you so much. I'm glad the committee got along. It seems like you guys really love each other so much in the chat box. It's going wild. Anyways, so I think that concludes all of our awards. Congratulations and thank you and congratulations to everyone who received an award. And like many of the chairs have already mentioned, even if you didn't win an award today, just participating in the conference and giving your best makes you a winner nonetheless. It doesn't matter. Awards is just like a cherry on the top. but I'm sure all the delegates did well and had a really fun time. Okay, so to finish the closing ceremony, I would like to invite our core secretariat to say a few closing remarks. Firstly, Michelle, would you like to say a few words?
I'm sorry to inform everyone, our Deputy Secretary General, Michelle, won't be here with us for right now. So I guess we can begin with the other core sec members.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. Sultan, are you here? Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. So hello again, everyone. I was glad to see you all at this conference and your activity at the sessions. I would like to congratulate the nominees for your achievements, as well as express my gratitude for everyone for their participation and the fact that you delegates contributed to solving problems by sharing your ideas, discussing and cooperating. Also, thanks to the chairpersons for their care and reliability. We hope that your weekend was great and you will remember this conference for a long time.
Thank you so much. That was very nice. Next, Pratyush, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you for the floor, Shreya. Thank you everyone for being here. We really, really appreciate each and every one of you. We have a great first year event organizing team. They organize all of our opening and closing ceremony. Rest of the OC and especially delegates. I am the last speaker, so I wouldn't take much of the time, but I'll just say that our MUN was the maiden edition, the first edition. We had a lot of things in our mind when we started, like we're going to do it this way, we're going to do it that way, and we're so happy that we executed the plan as well. And I just hope that every delegate over here is really happy and they're going back with a good experience. And that, as I had said in my opening speech, that you might have come here for a certificate, but you will leave with a lot more. So I hope that this statement did turn out to be true for each and every one of you. There was a lot of spice that happened during the committee. There were 2 a.m. fights at one place. Another place, people were so sweet that it didn't look like an MU and it looked like how do I say it, like a party on which everyone appreciating each other. So it was such an amazing experience to be there and look at you guys learning from the beginners to the UNSC very advanced council. It was really, really an honorable experience, to be very honest. And that will be it from my end. I'll give the floor back to our event organizing team. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Pratyush. I mean, no matter what, everybody helped make this conference so great. Finally, we would like to invite our founder and Secretary General, Abhyuday Sharma, to say a few words and give the vote of thanks.
So it's the day. I was never hoping this day to come. Oh, sorry. I sound too silly to say. But, it was like, I wanted this union to be an endless journey. I was so enjoying it. Like, daily conversing with our teammates and just, it was so great to see everything was just working as we planned it. When I just initially had the thought at the start, like, okay, we should start an MUN, but how? I have never even thought about starting an organization, but all of a sudden I had this idea. So yeah, so I initially invited our core secretariat members at first. We begin with their interview process. Don't worry, I'm not going to teach you how to start an MUN, but it's like how we initially started. So yeah, it was the core sec. Everyone was just, moving up to just interview people and have everyone in the team. It was like a dream come true for me. I never thought of that. It just feels like yesterday was just 3 months ago when we just started. And today it's the last day we're having a closing ceremony. And first of all, I'd also like to thank Jen Gauss, who came and gave us insight on the power of social media. And yeah, that's actually true. Each and everything which made this event successful was through social media. We have been successful to make a reach for at least 45 countries, and we had the delegates from coming over so many places, all because of the power of social media. I'm sitting there, you all guys are sitting at different corners of the world, and we are connected and speaking today. The power of social media. I am just truly impressed. I actually never attended an offline MUA. See, I actually started my MUA journey because of this pandemic. Although the pandemic isn't a good news, but it has really given us skills to many of us, which couldn't have been imagined by us quite a few. See, at the age of 15 or 16, we have been studying forming organizations. We are a part of organization. Can you think that we are just working so forward than the previous generations? And this is the power, and this is the future that I never thought that at such age we will be working so, out of the mind for me. And last but not least, our team members and our EVs, our campus ambassadors, our delegates. You all guys are the secret to this recipe who made this event successful. Our event organizing team has been working throughout to make this event successful. We had our workshop too. Many of you guys were there too, and it was a great success. We had our clinical psychologist, Miss Devi, there. Our opening ceremony was a great hit. And I never wanted this day to come, this opportunity to come to give a vote of thanks. But yeah, it would have come someday or other. So thank you, delegates, and thank you everyone for being a part of UNWIN 1.0. I'm sorry, there were many requests to declare the dates for the second edition, but I can't. It's a suspense for now, but it will be revealed when the date comes. So that will be everything for me. Thank you very much, and keep working, participate in many MUNs till the time we have, and enjoy each and every little bit. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhidaya, and thank you to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, who joined us over this weekend and this conference. We really hope to see you again. And with this, ULMUN 1.0 conference is now closed. You may leave. Thank you so much for being with us again. And yeah, congratulations. Hope you had a good time.